If you have to take the heater core out of a 64 Rambler America, and you're going to be either laying in the floor, which is very uncomfortable, or on the seat, or if you're able to take the seat out, you know, that'd be a little more comfortable, but I couldn't get mine out because the bolts are very difficult to get to. But for the heater core, you're going to know what you have to take out to get the heater core out. So I'm going to show you very quickly. This is the part of the heater core that you would be looking at. If you were sitting in the front seat, your feet would be underneath this part right here. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 screws that go into the firewall. That holds the heater core in, and this top part of the heater core goes up into your defroster stuff that's built into the dash. Your heater core, I may have been calling this a core, but this is the heater. Your heater core sits in this tray. Keep in mind that we have the thing on its back right now, but this heater core goes in like this, and when this was facing up, those two pieces there would be going through the firewall. Also, the motor sits, you see these 3 holes and you see those 3 holes? Well, the motor sits here with those 3 holes lined up like that, and this goes through the firewall. Now outside here on the firewall, there's going to be 1, 2, and 3 bolts around the edge of that motor that have to come out. One of these on mine is a ground bolt, has a wing nut on it. This is the core tubes, and this is where your radiator hoses hook. Be careful and not break them. After that, and I'm going to lay down on the seat. I tried to explain this earlier, holding the heater, but kind of hard to explain unless you can see it in the car. So I'm just going to lay down on the seat and show you that we have 1, 2, 3 screws here. And you have to take your box out, and that's easy to do. There'll be 3 screws in here, and the whole door will come off. And this box is cardboard, and usually there's a screw over here that screws into a little clip. But inside of here is a screw right there that screws into the side of the car there. And there's 1 more screw, and it is up in here. And this tube has to sit back on this, which is your defroster pipes. And to get this off, I had to loosen it, and it has a screw here and a screw here. So I just took those off, wiggled it around. I was able to lift this up and slide the heater out. This is your defroster, and it hooks to your defroster switch. And I'm going to show you how these clamps go on. When I flicked one of mine off, it went under the seat, and I almost never found it. But the way it goes, I'm going to use this one because I haven't put it on yet, is this round part goes over this handle, and then the tube fits in this notch, and this moves this back and forth, which is I think that turns the air off and on from the heater. Let me see what this actually is over here. Okay, that's on and off air. This is where that would normally hook. Mine's broken, so it just hangs under the dash. But to get those clips on, you have to take the clip in your hand. I don't know if I can do it with one hand. And this little hook, this little thing on the bottom there, goes in this hole. And then the thing, actually this was probably upside down. So you'll see the cable fits right in that groove. I'm going to do it as if that was on there. So this would go in here, and then you would push this up top here, up here, and that will clip on. Now to get it off, you have to get that unclipped from over that, and I'm not going to be able to do that with one hand, but that's how that goes. When I was taking it out, I took the 4 screws out. I loosened the bolts on the firewall, the 3 bolts on the firewall. I loosened these bolts. I was able to jiggle it around. Your heater core sits right here, and your heater motor, it sits in here and faces out, and the motor goes out through the firewall like I showed you before. I hope that helps. So that's what it looks like once it's in place. And I can tell you, this wasn't easy, but I did it. And I did it by sort of getting it in place, sticking a screwdriver head up here, getting my Leatherman wrapped around it, and then with the Leatherman squeezing both front and back, twisting the Leatherman until this top part topped over. Now, that basically turns the heat on and off. And what I mean by that is, you know, mine hangs down under the dash, right? Where is it? Right here, because the thing doesn't reach the gauge anymore. It broke, but I just you know, pull it and push it to open and close the heat. When I'm driving down the road and I feel heat coming out down here, I can open or close that. And I guess if I go by the gauge here, it's if it's pushed in, it's off, and it's pulled out, it's on. So that cuts the heat on and off that goes to your feet down there.